What's up, everybody? My name is Dell. This is Dell on Movies. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you've been here before, thanks for hanging out with me again. And if you've been watching my channel a little bit, you know that when another BlueTuber issues a challenge, I kind of have to take it. It's kind of my thing. And this time, the challenge comes from my guy Troy over at the Comic Book Movies Collector's Guide. If you are not subscribed to his channel, please go check it out. Especially if you are interested in superhero movies, this guy, I swear, he has everyone that's ever been made, or he's getting pretty close to it. He doesn't have everyone, but he's getting pretty close to it. And he also has most of the TV shows out there that have been released to physical media. Last count, he was getting close to 1,000 at the end of the year. I'm sure he's probably past that already now. And if superhero movies or superhero media is your thing, definitely check out Troy's channel. It's a fantastic place to get superhero news and just see what he found. And it's a great place for information as well. But his challenge was, to me and to others, was to rank every piece of superhero content that we watched in 2022. And I kind of told him I was going to get it done. He issued this challenge back before the end of 2022. I told him I was going to get it done. I wouldn't get to it before the end of the year, but I was going to get it done. And I procrastinated doing the video a little bit, and one of the reasons is because I wanted to watch some of the stuff that I had missed. So I watched a few more things, and I have arrived at a total of 21 different movies and TV series that I watched in 2022 that involve superheroes. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with that list, and we're going to start right at the bottom of the list. And at number 21 is going to be Morbius. Morbius was is it was a painful time in the theater for me. It was a short movie, thankfully, but the story was pretty much incoherent. The CGI was horrible. Just everything about this movie, the execution was just terrible. I just could not deal with it. And I'm gonna apologize to a couple people because I know there are a few Morbius fans out there, but not for me. Morbius is my 21, my least favorite superhero thing that I watched all of 2022. Up to 20 is Samaritan, the Sylvester Stallone movie. Samaritan had a lot of potential. It wasn't truly terrible, but it was bad. It was okay. Let's say it was okay for most of the movie, and then by the end, it just did the predictable thing. So it wasn't too hot. It had a lot of potential again, but it missed the mark on several things, and its story was kind of all over the place and didn't quite make sense. Didn't jive in a few other places. So Samaritan drops down to my number 20. At number 19 is the first of many DC animated movies that I watched. This one is Catwoman Hunted. It had some fun things going on, so it wasn't horrible. But at the end of the day, it didn't quite come together the way that I wanted it to. So that one stays down at number 19 for me. Number 18, slightly above it, is another DC animated movie. This one is Teen Titans Go and DC Superhero Girls Mayhem in the Multiverse. That is a really long title. I'm an apologist for Teen Titans Go. I love them. Their other movies before this one are just fantastic. Teen Titans Go to the Movies and Teen Titans Go versus Teen Titans. I just love both of those movies. I was hoping for more of the same in this one. I didn't quite get it. I've seen one or two DC Superhero Girl movies, and they were okay. And the problem here is when they put the two together, instead of having them on an adventure together, it's kind of okay. We're gonna take turns. We're gonna be with Teen Titans for a while, and then with the superhero girls, and then Teen Titans and superhero girls, and superhero girls get the bulk of it. So it just never quite worked out. When they bring it together, it doesn't feel organic. It just feels all it's kind of slapped together. And when the Teen Titans are on the screen, they actually bring that to light and kind of say something similar to that, and or actually early in the movie. But the script just couldn't avoid it. So this one does not quite hold up to the other Teen Titans Go for me movies for me, not even close actually. So that gets my number 18. Number 17 will be the second lowest of the superhero movies that I saw in the theaters last year, and this one is Black Adam, starring The Rock. It is problems with this movie. One, the script is almost non-existent. It's action scene after action scene after action scene after action scene, and for a lot of people, that is enough. And I get it because I mean it can be exciting, but I found the action kind of repetitive, and there was no story to hold it together, so it didn't really work for me that in that way. And then The Rock himself, he's a guy that gets by on insane amounts of charisma. He has ever since his wrestling days, and in most of his movie roles, it comes across, and that's what's made him the huge star. And in this movie, he purposely, him and the writers and directors and producers, they all kind of got together and purposely came up with this idea that he should refrain from using any of that charisma. Just kind of have him walking around sullenly with a stoic look on his face, just murdering people left and right. It doesn't quite, it doesn't work. It makes the movie kind of boring and definitely repetitive. Even the dialogue is repetitive. We got Hawkeye, we got I'm drawing a blank on the other Pierce Brosnan's character's name for some reason. I'm sure it'll come. I'll put it on the screen somewhere. But anyway, it just doesn't work. So that's what gets it all the way down to number 17. Number 16 was a little bit better movie, and that's because it's kind of right down the middle of the road as okay. It's got its moments where it's really good, and then it's got its moments where they could have left it, and that's gonna be DC League of Super Pets. It was a fun idea for a weird movie. I've never been a fan of Super Pets. They've been around forever, but not a big fan. But I gave the movie a chance, and like I said, it's had its good parts and some not so good parts. So that gets it to my number 16. Moving up to number 15 is a series. This is going to be the lowest rated series on the list, and probably for a lot of you should have been the highest rated series, but for me, I found it kind of boring, and that was Moon Knight, season one of Moon Knight on Disney Plus, the Marvel show. Oscar Isaacs was great in the role as Moon Knight. He conveyed three different characters pretty much throughout the series. He did a good job with it, but I think the scripts let him down. It just never really came together. The one episode that it really did, which got it even this high, was the next to last episode. That is an amazing episode. The rest of the show just didn't live up to that for me. So that gets it to that spot. And moving up to number 14, slightly above it, is going to be Thor Love and Thunder. Another entry into the MCU, and this one I didn't really care for much at all. It was too funny, and when I say too funny, it wasn't really funny. It was just trying to be too funny, just from right from the start. And Christian Bale, who was the bad guy in this movie, he seemed to be in a different movie when he was on the screen. The movie had weight to it. And his performance, was full of gravitas and all the things that Christian Bale normally brings. He's really going for it, but he's not in it very much. So, and whenever Thor and the rest of his cronies are on the screen, it's just really slapstick comedy, and it's just kind of weird romance triangle, love triangle, going on with Thor and his hammer and his current weapon, the axe. It's just it was just too much. They tried to do what Thor Ragnarok did, but went overboard with it. And that was same director, Taika Waititi, and it works so much better in that movie, not so much here. Going up to number 13 is going to be Constantine, House of Mystery, another DC animated flick. This one, the first, is actually a collection of shorts, or an anthology of shorts. The first one stars Constantine, and it's actually pretty good, but it's very short because it's a short. And then there are two or three more stories, I believe, and one or two of them are okay, and the others not so much. So that is kind of a up and down kind of thing. I was looking for a full length feature, hoping for a full length feature, didn't quite get it. Because his last one, City of Demons, I believe, was the last Constantine animated feature. That was really good. This one didn't quite live up to that one. Number 12 is a movie I struggled to place. I had it down at the bottom, then I had it up as high as this spot, which is where it wound up. Actually, maybe even a spot or two higher. And that is the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. It started off pretty fun, pretty good. A whole take on trying to get Star-Lord some Christmas spirit, so to speak, and what they do to accomplish that is fun. But it's kind of all over the place and never really never really delivers the message that it wants to clearly. But it's a pretty fun time if you're fans of the Guardians. So go ahead and give that a look. And I will say, let's move on to number 11. Now, here's where I start to say these movies and series were really good. These are the ones that I really liked. And I'm gonna kick that off with Green Lantern: Beware My Power. Got the Green Lantern shirt on. This is the first big screen adventure for, or not big screen, first full length feature to show John Stewart as the Green Lantern. If I believe that that's correct, and it is his origin story. But then, of course, you also got a lot of the other Justice League members in there, Batman in particular, Batman, Superman. So, they're all trying to figure out who this guy is that's now the Green Lantern, or claims to be the Green Lantern, when they all, to their knowledge, Hal Jordan is the Green Lantern. So it dives into that, and I really enjoyed that one. So just missed my top 10. And let's get to that top 10. And at number 10, Batman and Superman: Battle of the Super Sons. And this one pairs up Damian, Batman's son. If you've been following the DC animated universe, especially the Batman movies over the last 5, 6, 7 years, Damian has emerged as the new Robin, and he is the son of Batman and Talia al Ghul, and he's under Batman's care after lots and lots of events in a few other movies. So just check those out. Go on HBO Max. There's a ton of DC animated stuff, and he winds up getting paired with Clark Kent's son, or the son of Superman and Lois Lane, and who doesn't have any powers when we meet him at the beginning of the movie. It is largely not completely a retread, but it does cover a lot of the same ground as Sky High, and but it does a pretty good job of it. So I really do like that movie, and they actually face a formidable villain towards the end. And Damien is Damien. I've become a fan of his, so that movie gets my number 10. Number 9 is a movie that a lot of people don't like, at least from what I can tell. Most people, if they saw it, would have it down towards the bottom of this list, at least judging from what I've seen from critics and even fans, and that is Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie. Now, the series is Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I believe it's a Netflix series. I'm not sure, but it's been around for a couple of years, I think. And I've never really watched it. I knew of it, but just wasn't my thing to go back and watch them. I watched the Turtles back when I was a kid. No, not yeah, when I was a teenager, I watched the Turtles a little bit, and of course, I've got all the movies. I've seen all the movies. And one day I decided, you know what? Let's just see what this movie is all about. And I really, really enjoyed it. I mean, it's got basically the Turtles are going through an existential crisis as they have to go through. Well, they have a young man who journeys through time to come back to the Turtles to get them to kind of save the universe. And it is. Like I said, I really dug it. The whole existential crisis thing. Once you do that, and if you do it fairly well, you kind of got me. And so this one was right up my alley. That goes for number 9 for me. Number 8, I think if we had 10 people do this same type of list, it would fall in 10 different spots. It could be number 1, it could be number 10 or number 20 or whatever, however many movies they saw, how many superhero movies and series that they saw. So for me, it gets to my number 8, and that is season 1 of She-Hulk. So what I really liked about it was how it was really kind of not a mockumentary, more like an office. Well, yeah, kind of like a mockumentary, and sometimes at some parts, we got a lot of breaking the fourth wall with She-Hulk and a lot of self-aware humor. So I really did enjoy that, even if it sometimes went a little too far into the sitcom realm for my taste. But overall, I really did enjoy it, and we get a strong female character that is fully aware of the lack of strong female characters in superhero genre in general, and how they've been kind of treated even in the MCU. So that final episode, which I'm sure is polarizing because some people love it, some people hate it, I really enjoyed. So She-Hulk gets my number 8. Number seven, another Marvel property that showed up just on Disney Plus, nowhere else, and that was the special Werewolf by Night. This was one of the ones that I hadn't seen when Troy did his list, and I wanted to see it before I made mine, and I think I made a pretty good decision. Um, Gail Garcia Bernal plays the main character, and shows up to this place with a bunch of other supernatural assassins, so to speak, and they're trying to get this. They're trying to get this the prize to rule everything, but he has an ulterior motive. He's actually trying to do something else. I won't spoil what that is. The black and white cinematography here, the choice to go with black and white is what allows this movie to be on Disney Plus. Let's go with that. So if you haven't seen it, that is absolutely what keeps this movie on Disney Plus, because in color it would be it's already violent, but it would probably be a gory type of violence. Uh, and the black and white just saves it. Not to mention, it just looks really good in black and white. Also, uh, kind of a slow burn in spots, but it's less than an hour long. I was When it was over, I was wishing that it was a full length feature. So, unfortunately, it wasn't the case. If it had been, it would probably be higher. But I've got it at number seven. Number six is a full length feature, and it is in the MCU also. And this is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Another polarizing movie. I really enjoyed this movie. Sam Raimi returns to Marvel to direct it, and we get to see Doctor Strange crossing over all sorts of things. There are some problematic parts of the movies because I thought it was pretty preachy, way too preachy, way more than I would have expected. One of the characters is just a full on allegory and less a character, and that is well, you know what? I won't even spoil it, but overall, the visuals and the final act of this movie and the things that Wanda did, Elizabeth Olsen, who plays Wanda, the things that she did, or Scarlet Witch, those things saved the movie for me. They didn't. Not only saved, they elevated the movie. So her scenes were just phenomenal. And again, the visuals toward the end of the movie, very weird, but so Sam Raimi, I mean, you couldn't knock it. So it gets my number six. Number five is a show that I feel like I might be on an island on as far as my adoration of the show. I think a lot of people just didn't like it because it's a Disney Plus show. It's one of the Disney Plus Marvel shows, but this one was kind of caught a lot of backlash for being too Disney, and it felt like a Disney teen show, and it did, but it also mixed in lots of great visuals and a great story, and that's Miss Marvel, my number five, the season one of that show. I can't say much more. I mean, the background visuals, first off, were just fantastic, and the journey of this young lady who was a joy to watch. And of course, we also got to see people of color being the heroes in the story, uh, completely being the heroes and learning how to be the heroes all the way through the series. So I really, really enjoyed Miss Marvel. That gets my number five. Number four, not a person of color in this one, but it was just a great watch and a fantastic time. And that was season one of Peacemaker. Peacemaker is another one of those that I hadn't watched by the time Troy issued his challenge. So I checked it out, and I really enjoyed Peacemaker. That was just a load of fun. It definitely had some things in there that I wasn't ready for, but when I got them, I was glad that they did it. So that gets my number four. Number three is going to be where I have Black Panther Wakanda Forever. For me, this is probably the most mature of the Marvel movies, definitely the most somber because it had to be built around the death of Chadwick Boseman. I really did enjoy it. Like the other Black Panther movie, its Achilles heel though is the visuals. For some reason, the visuals in the Black Panther movies are not as good as in most of the other Marvel movies. The CGI just got a little wonky in too many places for me, but it is a really good movie, really phenomenal. Hard watch for some people because of what happened with Chadwick Boseman. But my number three, nonetheless. Number two, narrowly missed my number one spot. It is my favorite superhero, and it is a phenomenal movie, even though it's 3 hours long, and that's The Batman. Robert Pattinson did a great job in the role, and I'm gonna say this about the movie. Well, a couple of things. First one is, yeah, this movie is relentlessly dark. It's a dark movie. When I went to see it, matter of fact, and I mean dark in both visually and in tone. Uh, Visually, there was a sign up when I went to see it in theaters explaining to people, hey, the movie is just dark. You're not getting your money back because it's too dark. Just cancel that one. Just go on and watch the movie. And that's not word for word what the sign said, but that was the gist of it. And then tonally, it's just, it just leans on you. It's just completely dark, and it mixes in lots of noir elements with horror elements, and we get Batman as a detective. So I really enjoy that whole deal of it, that whole aspect of it. And we got to see Batman learning because it's a very early Batman. So I also enjoyed that. And for people who complain that his Bruce Wayne wasn't good, to be honest, it wasn't supposed to be, because this is a story where he didn't want to be Bruce Wayne at all. He just wants to be Batman 24 hours a day. Uh, he didn't care about appearances. It was only when Alfred kind of made him be Bruce Wayne for a little bit that he did so. So, uh, when people say, "Well, his Bruce Wayne wasn't good," I kind of dismiss that. Maybe in the sequel we'll get more of that because he's maturing. So I look forward to that one. For right now, Batman, my number two superhero thing that I watched in 2022. My number one though is The Boys season three. Just episode after episode after episode, you just got something just crazy, amazing, gory, cringeworthy sometimes, and sometimes frightening and insightful. And that's the biggest thing about The Boys as a series is, yeah, it's gory, yeah, it's crazy, yeah, it just does a lot of nutty things, but at the end of the day, it's still insightful viewing. So you do get an insight into some parts of society, and if one you got to look past all the superhero stuff to see it sometime. But it is definitely there. I pick up on it a lot, so I really appreciate The Boys and season three. My number one thing that I watched superhero related wise anyway for 2022. Thank you, Troy, for issuing this challenge. I really enjoyed catching up on some of the things that I had missed and doing this video. And again, go sub to Troy. It's a phenomenal channel if you're into superhero stuff at all. Um, I will definitely, again, leave a link to the description below for that. That's all I have for you on this one, guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.